Welcome back to the Aesthetic Mind. I am Arnav, your host. Today we are diving into a topic that is being increasingly critical in the world of design: sustainability. This topic is very close to my heart, and I believe it is crucial for the future of our industry as well. Often it is easy to overlook the impact of our websites, apps, and graphics have on the planet. They exist in the intangible kingdom of pixel and code. But the reality is that every click, every scroll, every image download consumes energy, generates carbon emission, and contributes to the growing problem of e-waste. I am podcasting this episode because I believe it is time for us as designers to take responsibility for the environmental footprint of our creations. We have the power to make a difference, to design with intention, and to create digital experiences that are not only beautiful and functional but also sustainable. So grab your headphones, settle in, and let us get started. As I mentioned earlier, the impact of design is often overlooked by us, and many of us do not fully understand or think about one critical question: what is the environmental cost of digital design? It is a complex issue with several contributing factors. While often perceived as intangible, the digital world has a very real physical presence and environmental impact. The broader categories are energy consumption, carbon emissions, resource deletion. Let us start by exploring energy consumption in details. There are three major factors that have the greatest impact. First, I want to highlight data centers. These massive facilities house the servers and infrastructure powering the internet, consuming vast amount of energy, often derived from the fossil fuels. Second contributing factors is user devices. Computers, smartphones, and other devices used to access digital content consume electricity during use and production, with manufacturing process often involving the extraction and process of rare earth minerals. And third is network transmission. The transmission of data between device and servers also requires energy, contributing to the overall carbon footprint of digital design. Second important things which have environmental impact is carbon emissions. Again, there are three major contributing factors as well. First is energy consumption. The reliance on fossil fuels for data centers and device usage lead to significant greenhouse gas emission, contributing to climate change. Second one I like to highlight is manufacturing and transportation. The production and shipping of devices and components involve energy intensive process and transportation, further increasing carbon emissions. And the third one is e-waste. The short lifespan of many digital devices result in enormous amount of e-waste, which often end up in landfills or is shipped to developing countries for disposal, causing pollution and health hazards. Last broader categories which I want to highlight is resource deletion. The production of electronic devices requires the extraction and processing of rare earth minerals, which are finite resources with environmentally damaging mining practices. Manufacturing process and data center cooling system consume significant amount of water, straining local water resources, and paper used for printing digital designs, contributing to logging and loss of biodiversity. Beside the three main things we talked about, there are other ways digital design can harm the environment. For example, if websites and apps are going to be too big, they take longer to load and use more energy on your phone or computer. Also, if pictures and videos are not made smaller, they can make website and app load slowly and use more energy. Even when you print something, the kind of paper and ink you use can hurt the environment, like cutting down trees or using chemicals that pollute. To reduce the environmental cost, there are few key principles and practices we need to follow. Let us begin by outlining the key principles. Optimize resource usage across the entire life cycle of a design, from creation to disposal. Design for longevity and adaptability, reducing the need for frequent replacement and upgrades. Prioritize material and process that can be recycled or repurposed at the end of their useful life. Design for everyone, regardless of abilities, ensuring broader reach and reducing the need for multiple versions of a product. Consider the user's need and behaviors, promoting sustainable choice and minimizing environmental impact through design. Ensures material and processes used in design and production adhere to fair labor practices and environmental standards. Be open about the environmental impact of your design and the steps taken to minimize it. There are some practical practices as well which we need to follow. I prefer to distinguish this between UI/UX designer and graphic designers, as each role focuses on distinct type of content. Let us first see what UI/UX designer need to follow. Optimize images, videos, and code to minimize page load times and data transfer. Simplify user flows and interaction to reduce cognitive load and unnecessary action. Design for accessibility with clear typography, color contrast, and screen reader cap compatibility. Prioritize user needs by conducting user research to understand their goals and pain points. Consider device capabilities to ensure compatibility with various screen size and connection speeds. Use sustainable design systems and framework to encourage consistency and reduce redundancy. For graphic designers, these practices are a bit different. Optimize file sizes and formats to reduce data transfer and storage requirements. Choose sustainable materials and printing processes to minimize environmental impact. Design for longevity to avoid creating products that quickly become obsolete. Consider the full life cycle to ensure products can be recycled or repurposed at the end of their life. Use visual communication to promote sustainability and inspire action. There are really some good examples where we can see how sustainability in design is in action. And personally, I feel very motivated when I see it in action. First example I want to highlight is Ecosia search engine. They used ad revenue to plant trees, directly tying user action to positive environmental impact. The interface is very simple and efficient, promoting quick searches and reducing energy consumption. Second example I want to highlight is Medium's minimalist design. They focus on content and readability, minimizing distraction and unnecessary elements. This leads to faster load times and reduced data usage, benefit both users and the environment. Packaging design by P&G is another good example of sustainable design. They redesign packaging to use less material, be more easily recyclable, and incorporate recycled content. There are many more organizations who have already placed sustainable design in action. I have named a few, but other than that, Patagonia's Don't Buy This Jacket campaign, WWF's infographics on climate change, sustainable print design by Mo, a few good initiatives as well. It is very important that what you create also follow the key principles of sustainable design. And to achieve that, you need to measure the carbon footprint in your design and reduce it as much as possible. Calculating the precise carbon footprint of UI/UX design is very complex, but there are ways to estimate and understand its impact. Several online tools can estimate a website's carbon footprint based on factors like page size, number of requests, and hosting provider. Few notable online tools are websitecarbon.com, ecogradar.com, the greenwavefoundation.org. I'll put all this link in the description window. Please do check. Tools like Lighthouse, PageSpeed Insights, and Web Page Test provide insight into page load times and resource usage, which can help identify areas for optimization. Lighthouse can be run through Chrome extension, and PageSpeed Insight are integrated developer tool that come built into the Chrome browser, whereas Web Page Test is an online tool. I'll include the link in the description for your reference. Analyzing the amount of data transfer during user interaction is also important and can help estimate the associated energy consumption and carbon emissions. Once you have a sense of the environmental impact, there are several effective strategies to make your UI/UX design more sustainable. To achieve this, you need to optimize performance, minimize file sizes by compressing images and videos, use efficient file formats and leverage lazy loading techniques, reduce HTTP requests by combining and minifying CSS and JavaScript files, using sprite sheets for icons, and leveraging browser caching. Employ clean and efficient code practices, avoid unnecessary animation and transition, and prioritize critical rendering path optimization. Opted for hosting providers that use renewable energy sources or carbon offset programs. Always prioritize user experience. Make it easy for user to find what they need quickly, reducing unnecessary clicks and page loads. Maintain a clear information hierarchy by presenting content in a logical and organized manner, minimizing the need for user to search and explore extensively. Design streamline user flows and minimize the number of steps required to complete the tasks. Embrace clean and simple design that focus on essential content and functionality. Offer a dark mode option to reduce energy consumption on OLED screen. Use animation and video sparingly and only when they add genuine value to the user experience. Design inclusive experience that cater to diverse user needs, reducing the need for multiple product versions. Educate clients and colleagues about the importance of sustainable design and the impact of their choices. Push for industry standard and regulation that prioritize sustainability. Emphasize your sustainable design project and encourage others to adopt similar practices. When I started implementing these practices into my design, it feels horrifying. What an extensive list it is. But don't worry, once you start working on this, you will find it quite easy to use and remember. Whatever we have discussed so far is mostly for the UI/UX designer, but those who are working as a graphic designer, you also need to measure the carbon footprints in your work and start reducing it as much as possible. To measure the carbon footprint, you need to consider the type and amount of paper used for printed materials, evaluate the inks, coating and other materials involved in the printing processes, account for the energy consumption and emissions from the printing and transportation of printed products. Partner with printers who provide carbon footprint estimate for their services. Once you know how much carbon footprint your printing is producing, you can then take the following steps to reduce it. Use recycled paper and environmentally friendly inks. Choose printing process that minimize waste and energy consumptions. Design for efficient use of paper and printing materials. Consider digital alternatives to printed materials when possible. At this stage of this episode, you already have an idea what are the contributing factors, how to measure them, and how to implement in the practical practice. I want to name a few notable pioneers who have made significant contribution to the field of sustainable design. Before mentioning any of these names, I like to apologize in advance if any of the name I am going to pronounce is not correct. William McDonough. He is an architect and designer, co-author of Cradle to Cradle, Remaking the Way We Make Things. He is considered one of the leading pioneers of sustainable design. His Cradle to Cradle design philosophy promotes the ideas of designing products and systems that continuously cycle and eliminate waste. Victor Papanek, author of Design for the Real World. Victor Papanek was a vocal advocate for socially responsible design. He believed that designers should focus on creating products that are ecologically sound and serve human needs rather than feeding consumer culture. Janine Buneus, she is a biologist, author, and innovation consultant who pioneered the field of biomimicry design inspired by the nature's principle. Her book, Biomimicry Innovation Inspired by Nature, has influenced sustainable product design, architecture, and system thinking. Aileen Fisher, she is a fashion designer and entrepreneur, has become a leader in the sustainable fashion. Her brand focuses on recycling clothing, using organic fibers, and ensuring fair wages and labor practices. There are many more people who have made important contributions to sustainable design. I recommended looking up sustainable design pioneers and reading their biographies, the books they have written, and learning how their work has influenced the world. Trust me, this will be inspiring and will motivate you to think about how your design impact the carbon footprints, encouraging you to start create more sustainable design. One question is very obvious at this stage. What is the future of sustainable design? The design world is changing. It is not just about doing less harm, it is about actively helping the planet. The future of sustainable design looks incredibly promising, driven by growing awareness of environmental issues and technological advancement. I want to share some key trends that are shaping the future of design. To start with, first is the circular economy. Imagine a world where products are designed to be reused, repaired, and recycled over and over. This is the circular economy and it is a major trend in sustainable design. Nature is inspiration. We are learning from nature's brilliance to create better, greener design. This is called biomimicry and it is leading to exciting new materials and innovation. Then tech for good. Artificial intelligence and data are helping designers make smarter choices about materials and processes, reducing waste and pollution. Design for everyone. Sustainable design is not about the environment. It is about creating products and services that are accessible and inclusive for everyone, regardless of ability or background. Teamwork makes the dream work. Solving big problems require collaboration. Designers, engineers, scientists, and communities will need to work together to create a truly sustainable future. Designers will play a pivotal role in shaping more sustainable features, creating products, services, and systems that benefit both people and the panel. I want to highlight one case study which have inspired me a lot. Their journey to a sustainable solution is remarkable. The case study I am going to mention here is Auroville Earth Institute Pioneering Sustainable Architecture. The Auroville Earth Institute, also known as AVEI, located in Auroville, Tamil Nadu, India, is a renowned research and training center dedicated to promoting sustainable building practices. Established in 1989, AVEI has been a driving force behind development and dissemination of eco-friendly construction technologies in India and beyond. During their earlier days, they are facing some challenges. Like many developing countries, India also faces the dual challenge of rapid urbanization and growing environmental crisis. AVAI has recognized the urgent need to develop sustainable building solutions that are affordable, accessible, and environmentally responsible. AVI focuses on utilizing locally available natural materials and traditional building techniques combined with innovative design and engineering principles to create sustainable structures that are harmonious with the environment and culturally relevant. They have developed techniques for compressed stabilized earth block, also known as CSEB, rammed earth, and other earth-based construction methods that are durable, energy efficient, and cost effective. They have also developed innovative solutions for waste management and recycling, including the use of plastic bottles and other waste material in construction. The institute promotes rainwater harvesting and water conservation techniques to ensure sustainable water management in building and communities. They started integrating solar energy and other renewable energy solutions into its building design, reducing dependencies on fossil fuels. The institute offers training program and workshop empowering individuals and communities to adopt sustainable building practices. The Auroville Earth Institute's work demonstrates the power of sustainable design in India. By advocating local materials, eco-friendly technologies, and community empowerment, AVI is paving the way for a more sustainable and inclusive future for architecture and construction in the country. I'll put the website link in the description window. Please do check. This is a very motivational story and there are many more case studies like this. Please do check them and I'm sure this will motivate you towards more sustainable design solutions. We are at the end of our episode and before concluding, I like to mention one crucial point towards obtaining sustainable design is education and advocacy. You can think of these as like two sides of the same coin when it comes to making sustainable design a reality. Proper education is needed to provide. We need to teach students, designers, and even everyday people about the importance of sustainable design and how it works. From schools and universities to workshops and online resources, education helps people understand the impact their choices have on the environment and how design can make a positive difference. At the same time, we also need to do some advocacy by raising our voice and speaking up for change. It is about pushing policies that support sustainable practices and encouraging businesses to adopt greener solutions, whether it is through government initiative, industry groups, or even individual actions. Advocacy helps turn ideas into real-world changes. There are a couple of books, online resources, documentaries, and videos are available. I will share some links in the description windows. Remember, these are just a few examples. Many more books, articles, research papers, and documentations are available that delve deeper into specific aspects of sustainable design. You can find them through online searches or by visiting libraries and research institutions focusing on sustainable and design. Additionally, consider attending workshops and conferences organized by organizations like AVAI, IGBC, and Development Alternative to gain practical knowledge and connect with experts in the field. That is all for today, and before wrapping up, I just want to list down the key points from this episode. The environmental cost of digital design, sustainable design principles, practical practices for UI UX and graphic designers, measuring and reducing carbon footprints, the future of sustainable design, education and advocacy. There is a famous quote by Buckminster Fuller, a renowned architect. The question is not can we make the world work for 100% of humanity in the shortest possible time through spontaneous cooperation without ecological offense or the disadvantage of anyone. The question is, will we? Please join us on WhatsApp channel The Aesthetic Mind for engaging QA sessions and interactive discussion. Also follow us on Instagram and share your suggestions or let us know what type of sessions you would like to hear from us. I'll put the link in the description window. As always, keep creating. Bye bye. See you in the next week.